The religious leaders have asked John the Baptist if he is the Christ, if he is Elijah, and in the last part of John chapter 1 verse 21 they ask him, "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." So this is the common expectation of the Jewish people. They expect from the Old Testament scriptures and their reading and interpretation of them that there's going to be three significant figures that will at some point in their history arrive on the scene: the Christ, Elijah, and the prophet. So who is the prophet? Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 15 and verse 18, Moses is speaking. In verse 15 he says, "The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your brothers. It is to him you shall listen." And in verse 18 God speaks and says, "I will raise up for them a prophet like you," addressed to Moses, "from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him." Now Moses, obviously a very significant figure to the people of Israel, and so for a prophet to arise that is like Moses, he will be the prophet. And this is distinguished from any other prophet. Elijah was a prophet. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Malachi, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, so on. They were prophets, but they were a prophet. The prophet is going to be one that is set apart from the rest in significance and importance. And Jesus speaks of John the Baptist in Matthew chapter 11 verse 9. He says, "What did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet." So we can see that maybe we're leading that direction here. And in verse 11, Jesus says, "Truly I say to you, among those born of women, there has arisen no one greater than John the Baptist." Now that's very high praise. Stop short of saying that John the Baptist is the prophet, but Jesus speaks of John the Baptist in a very glowing way. In John chapter 6 verse 14, this is referring to Jesus and his ministry and the people as they saw him and they pondered about who he was and tried to figure that out. It says, "When the people saw the sign that he had done, they said, 'This is the prophet who is come into the world.'" So once again, they're calling Jesus that. And in John chapter 7 verse 40, it says, "When they heard these words, some of the people said, 'This really is the prophet.'" So people were calling Jesus the prophet. So this is the last of the questions that the religious leaders asked John the Baptist in seeking to identify who he was or who he considered himself to be.